Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today, Ted, we have quite the topic, and billing is an important one in our industry, especially in fixed ops.
Sarah, you're so right. Dave Schell from Interstate Billing is with us here today at the roundtable. Also, very honored to have both Shon Kingrey at the Kaiser Automotive Group in Madison, Wisconsin, Ed Roberts at Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, Florida. Everybody, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We were having a little chat in the green room going in. Ed, I thought you had some very interesting perspective on the collections part of the automotive industry. Maybe you'd like to open and share some of that with us. I thought it was very interesting.
Well, a lot of times it's the convenience is worth the charge. When we think, well, I got to be able to control expenses, I got to be able to do this and that. Well, what we do is we send our people out at a different risk. It is our job to help them build those relationships with our clients in field. And in order to do that, they need to be focused on building that relationship, not coming in and asking for the money and asking if I can get you something and asking for those things. So when they have another service that comes behind them, it's no different than me selling you the vehicle. When I sell you the vehicle, I don't send you the monthly payments. It's a different relationship now. It's different. And so same thing here. And then it's the timeliness of that. The invoices are going to be on time. They're going to be, and the timeliness of that creates the cash flow that we all need. Cash flow is key in any business. It doesn't matter what we're in. So creating that consistent cash flow is instrumental, and it allows our team that goes out, our outside salespeople, to build the relationship that they need to build, and it's building the relationship that connects, not the relationship that disconnects.
Sean, I'm wondering if you might have a couple things to add to that because Ed is right. Cash is king.
It is king, and for those that don't know, 2 of my 8 stores are on the program, and we use it. It happens to be our 2 largest stores. And to Ed's point, you have a sales rep. I'm going to feed off of what Ed said. You have a sales rep that goes in and says, "Hey, purchase, purchase, purchase. Oh, by the way, you're behind on your bills," and they got to save face. I mean, they do. They can't have that relationship. And I'll take it a step further. Is the other side of it is you look on the retail side to Ed's point. Cash being king and cash flow being king is we all know that accounts receivable person that comes to your service advisor in June and said, "Hey, Billy Bob, wrote a bad check in the month of January." Listen, guys, accounts payable has a lot to do, and there's a lot of moving pieces, and they don't tell you about something until 3, 4, 5 months down the road. Guys, I couldn't tell you what I did yesterday, let alone what I did in January and June. So this stops that and I'll let Dave sell his own product, but guys, all you got to do is you sell the product, and then the bill collecting's on them. You're done. It's scot free. And that's how we do it. And that's why our 2 largest stores are on that platform.
Dave,
Very well put, gentlemen.
well put.
Yeah, that's the real nuts and bolts of it. Is the fees are less than a credit card. It takes all the liability out of the dealership. Any parts or service that are B2B that run through interstate billing are our liability. When it runs through on an open account, if they don't slow pay, no pay, whatever hiccups we run into, you get your funding, and we work through the kinks of cash flow. And that's all included in the fee. And we do all the statements, reconciliation. We have a portal for all the clients to pull their own invoices out of. If you're a multi-line dealer like you are, they can go into each store and pull any invoice that they need at their convenience. We do offer, we do have, I think it's 52 people that are the guest experience that are on the phones that work through, the cash flow and collection and everything else that goes on with it. And that way, the dealership, the countermen, and the advisors and everything else can work on revenue generating tasks more than chasing money.
And Dave, you didn't just start doing this yesterday. Interstate has a long history, and you're in the retail car business. Tell us about that.
Yeah,
Because that's a big differentiator.
Locally in St. Louis, I worked for the 2 biggest rooftops, 18 line car dealer and a 22 line over my 35 years. And we used them, and they still do today. we used Interstate Billing, and that's how I became affiliated with them and ended up going to work for them. I believe in the product. I know what it's done, as far as being able to put your head on the pillow at night and not think, hey, I've got $3 million out for the month, and they always pay till they don't. I mean, that there it is. Or run into a big MSO. I'm running down the rabbit hole here, but it's all from my parts experience. You put a digit wrong in a PO, and then they kick 5 or 10 of them. Well, you're paid, you can reconcile and keep moving, and we'll work through what was typed up wrong in the PO and all that. And it's easier to close your month.
Dave,
let's go ahead, Sarah.
A follow-up to that, in talking about this experience, and Shon and Ed could chime in on this as well, but speed and accuracy are important components, especially in accounts receivable. So is Interstate Billing faster than what typically would happen in an in-house accounts receivable?
Yes, just like with Shon's stores, what they sell today, if they put the batch invoices in tomorrow at 10, they will have their funding in the bank account and everything reconciled at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how efficient we are. It's under 24 hours, you have your funding.
And I'll elaborate on that, guys. We have a truck center that's got 400 and some odd accounts. Okay. And in that, by the way, it's not really 400 accounts, but one account has 26 customer IDs. It's a DMS flop that, Ed and I can go down that rabbit hole forever. And, you build it to this account. We're going to use U-Haul, for example. Okay. Just because everybody knows what it is. And you build it under this U-Haul. Well, we start billing it. And to David's point, we send the bill to the wrong U-Haul because we put it on the wrong customer number. And the advisor didn't do it maliciously. It wasn't a mistake. They're busy. We all know the chaos and the fire hydrant that they're drinking out of, and they use the wrong customer ID, and all of a sudden it's the wrong billing. Or to his point, the PO thing, a lot of city work that we do. You have one wrong PO number. It's an endless thing. We literally, it's a cash customer. And I don't think Dave stresses enough. It's less than credit card fees now. We pay more in credit card fees than we do to his company. Not trying, I don't want him to raise his prices. Don't get me wrong. But we close it like a cash customer, and we get cash flow the same day. The check doesn't bounce. The credit card's good. There's no fee. There's no controversy of spreading that fee to the client. It's just seamless. And then they collect the funds.
Well, Ed, you were going to add something just a few moments ago.
I was going to speak to the audience there because we process the credit cards without even thinking about it. And so it's a no-brainer to put something like this together. But to carry that further, when you talk about dealers that do a lot of wholesale parts, they have two main concerns, and one doesn't reflect here, but the other one is billing. It's billing because the people that bill back at the store have multiple responsibilities, and it isn't just about sending out those invoices. It's also about processing those things when they do come back, and then if it does fall to a different category where it's late, whether it's this, whether they've sent us a bad check or whatever else, then that gets put on hold again until they get time to work on it because they have other responsibilities that they must do first. And then these fall to the should do's. Well, should do's should never fall when it has something to do with cash flow. But it's what happens over and over again. And when you can take those things off the plate, when you got two concerns with wholesale parts, one being returns, we're not going to talk about that, and two being cash flow, this being currency. When you can take one off, then you can focus on the other.
The other thing is when you get a client that's got a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 accounts receivable that continues to grow, and they send a payment in because there was a PO number wrong, and they didn't pay invoice number 1, they paid invoice number 2, but accounts payable posts it to the oldest account, then that one goes away, by the way. So now guess what? You're not looking for that payment because as far as you know, it got paid because that's the one they wiped off with the check that came in, even though that check wasn't assigned to that repair order or wholesale customers to Ed point. It's all the same. And they keep that straight. And again, I'm not picking on AP. There's so many moving pieces with variable and fixed and everything we throw at them. And they're sitting in an office and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know the day-to-day. But again, like I said, they post a payment to the wrong invoice. And now all of a sudden, 6 months later, this invoice didn't really get paid. Well, if I'm running a business, a U-Haul, for example, and you come to me 6, 9 months later and say, "Oh, by the way, you still owe me for this," listen, that conversation is not going to be pleasant because the chances are the person that approved it probably doesn't work there anymore anyway.
Dave,
Boy,
Dave,
there's somebody speaking from experience there, Sean. That is so deep and dead on that yep, it happens. It
Once
does.
or
You
twice I
all
can say that, yes.
UPS, the car rentals, the big MSOs, the calibers, the big groups.
yes, yeah.
You're dead on running down the rabbit hole that doesn't generate anything. It's on the dealer side, it's an enormous waste of time. And once they apply that, then everybody just got to sharpen up their pencil at the end of the year and probably charge off to policy or
Correct.
however how they wanted to reconcile a bunch of stuff. But yeah, absolutely.
You say an advisor's got a tough job calling extended warranties in. Try to chase down an AP for a rental car company. I'm going to use Enterprise, for example. The way they move around stores and the way they're moving the moving pieces. The person that approved it isn't there anymore, and the chance of you getting paid for something. Well, I didn't approve it. That should have been warranty. Well, the guy deuced a hazard of the car. That's why we didn't warranty it. You owe me $8,000. Well, guess what? You're not collecting that $8,000 6 months later.
Well, Dave, I think a lot of folks in the audience do not even realize that this is available specifically for automotive retail dealerships, and that you specialize in this. And look at the great points that are coming up on this conversation right now. Dave, I got two questions, if you don't mind, I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Before I forget. Number one, because again, it is a retail dealership, does Interstate Billing integrate with the DMS? And number two, does Interstate take all the risk for billing? And I know we've talked about this, for less than the credit card fee, let's say.
Yeah. So yes, we integrate with any of the DMSs used. We have an integration team, and the computer people do their stuff. Then when we get to the dealership, I come out with a team, and we do onboarding and training and get everybody comfortable for a couple days. And then you're off and running. And then yes, with the risk, when it's built through Interstate Billing, and they're on an open account, it is not the dealership's responsibility. They have their funding, and they will not be charged back for it.
Wow.
That is part of the fee, and that it is less than a credit card.
It's incredible to hear, Dave, and this is, all of these components that Shon and Ed have shared. It really comes from, again, the day-to-day, the realities of what dealerships are facing and what they're up against in these operations. And as we continue to see more and more business happening in fixed operations, and it really taking the center stage it deserves in 2026, that's a real, this is real world conversation. So, Ed and Shon, there's a scenario that I think is an interesting question. So if someone owed you $500,000 and wanted to pay in full with a credit card, would you take it?
Absolutely not.
No, for a multitude of fee reasons and dispute reasons and the gray area that it goes down to, absolutely not. No.
Yeah. This is fascinating information. Dave, we are on the cusp of NADA just next week in Las Vegas this year. I know the industry is going to descend on Las Vegas. Sarah and I will be there as well. Will you be there with Interstate as well?
Yes, we're gonna be there Monday through Friday. Okay. And we'll be attending. We've got a booth. I look forward to chatting with anybody that comes by that has a wholesale operation or that they do a lot of fleet business municipalities through the service drive.
All right.
We're going to be there and look forward to it.
Ed, I think this all comes back to 2026, finding more efficiencies in the dealership, in particular in fixed ops, because Ed, fixed ops is going to continue to grow, thanks to folks like Shon and yourself.
When you can find efficiencies that make our people more productive, that's key. And when you can take them off of things that they're not necessarily good at, and they can focus on the things that we put them out there for, then they win. And it's not too often that you have a no-brainer that comes along and says, hey, why have I not signed up yet?
Yep. Good
That's,
question. There.
the biggest thing I think I'm seeing right now in talking with so many dealers across the country, getting the ball moving. This is our focus for 26 is that we're not here to tell anybody how to run their business. We're just a partner. If we said, hey, Ed's over there doesn't look too good on paper, and you said you want to sell them, we'll still sell them and bill them and work on collecting it. But if they don't pay, it would be on the dealership. But my point being is, we're a silent partner. We just deal with that. We're here to work with you. We're not here to tell any dealership, hey, this is how you have to run your business. We're an extension of the business. It gives them one point of contact. There's so many benefits of using interstate billing that I need to have the conversation with more people.
All right, let's see that happens, everybody. 2026, the year of fixed operations, a great way to start your year. Dave Schell is with Interstate Billing. They work exclusively with retail automotive dealerships. They help you with the accounts receivable and take that burden from you, and they specialize in it. So Dave will be at NADA next week. You could also reach them on the web at interstatebilling.com. I want to thank everybody today for being here with myself and Sarah. Ed Roberts at Bozard Ford Lincoln. Shon Kingrey. Shon, is it still balmy up in Madison, Wisconsin?
Balmy. There's no snow outside, as you can see.
All right, very good. And here with Dave Schell, and Dave is with Interstate Billing. Everybody, Dave Schell with Interstate Billing, here with us today at the Fixed Up.
We'll see you at NADA.
We'll see you next week.